Hi everyone, so today in content we are going to continue in our blue book about structures of life, and we are going to continue with investigation 1. So far we've learned about fruits and seeds, and now we will learn about Barbara McClintock. All right, so Barbara McClintock. Did you ever believe strongly in something, even if everyone told you your idea was silly or wrong? A scientist named Barbara McClintock, who lived from 1902 to 1992, faced that problem. For much of her life, she never stopped believing in what she knew was true. Barbara McClintock was born in Hartford, Connecticut. Even when she was little, McClintock liked to do things her own way. She enjoyed all kinds of sports. Her favorite sport was playing baseball with the boys in the neighborhood. McClintock was the only girl on the boys' team. She knew that the boys didn't want her to play with them, but McClintock didn't care what other people thought. She kept on playing because she wanted to play. McClintock did well in school, where she discovered science. When she graduated from high school, she wanted to go to college. In those days, most women did not go to college, but her father agreed that she should go. In college, McClintock studied plants and how to grow them. She loved college life. She began to focus on her studies in the field of genetics and graduated in 1923. She did advanced studies and received her PhD in botany in 1927. So here's Barbara McClintock. It says McClintock Laboratory. And then down here, here's McClintock in her cornfield. McClintock decided to become a geneticist. A geneticist is a scientist who studies how traits are passed on from one generation of an organism to the next. McClintock spent most of her time studying the traits of corn. She studied the color, size, and texture of corn. She grew fields of corn and studied the corn kernels, or seeds. By studying the kernels, she could tell what traits were passed from one generation to the next through the corn seeds. In 1931, McClintock made an important discovery. Scientists already knew that every living thing passes genetic messages to its offspring. These messages control what the offspring look like. These messages are called genes. Genes are carried by structures called chromosomes. Scientists thought a gene located on a certain chromosome would always be there. McClintock discovered that this was not true. Her experiments showed that genes could cross over or move from one chromosome to another. Crossing over means that a greater variety of traits could exist. She published the first genetic map for corn. Here is corn and corn plants in a field, and here is harvested corn. In 1941, McClintock got a research position at the Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory on Long Island in New York City. She worked there for the rest of her life. At the Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory, McClintock was free to do the research she loved. She often worked 80 hours a week. McClintock presented the results of her research at a meeting in 1951. Most scientists didn't understand what McClintock was talking about. Others simply didn't believe her. At first, McClintock was disappointed and surprised at the reaction she got, but she went back to her research. Once again, she didn't care what others thought. She knew she was right. Although McClintock won several awards, her work still wasn't widely appreciated. That began to change in the 1970s. By then, scientists were able to use new technology to study McClintock's ideas. They proved what she had known to be true since 1951. It had been more than 25 years since she had first presented her ideas. Finally, McClintock's theories were accepted by other scientists. In 1983, at the age of 81, she received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. She was one of the first scientists to describe how genetic materials control the way an organism develops. Here's King Gustav of Sweden presents the Nobel Prize to Barbara McClintock. Barbara McClintock continued working until her death in 1992 at the age of 90. She was always very independent and sure of herself. She spoke out about the lack of opportunities for women scientists, and she was never bitter about all the years she was ignored. "If you know you're right, you don't care," she said. In 2005, the U.S. Postal Service issued the American Scientist Stamp series to celebrate the lives of 4 important scientists. McClintock was one of these scientists. A member of the U.S. Postal Service board introduced the stamps with these words: "These are some of the greatest scientists of our time. Their pioneering discoveries still influence our lives today." What is genetics? Genetics is the study of how living things pass certain traits or qualities to their offspring. A trait that is passed down from generation to generation is called an inherited trait. For example, 2 parents with brown eyes will probably have a child with brown eyes. All right, and then you have 2 questions to answer on Canvas. All right,